Hello, Professor. The speech I'm going to be giving today is it's an informative speech, and it's about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The peanut butter and jelly sandwich to most people would sound pretty interesting and very simple at the same time. I did bring some visual effects. I'll show my jelly here and my peanut butter. Forgive me for having my notes right here in front of me. Don't have a podium to stand on or to stand behind. But my specific purpose is how to make that peanut butter and jelly and to correlate that into not just making it for kids, but making it adult friendly, and using metaphors to kind of connect the dots between what I mean by actually making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because that's not really what the idea behind it is. I'm going to use my ingredients to kind of enlighten and elaborate to create simplicity out of a complicated matter. Have you ever heard of someone trying to explain to another, but you felt like they just really did not get the whole concept behind it? They couldn't understand the details, or you weren't simplified enough, or you explained it one way where they understand it a different way. Kind of like their head is up in the clouds and they're unable to understand. Well, I use peanut butter and jelly and making the sandwich out of it, the techniques to oversimplify the task at hand. For years I actually searched for different methods, different ways to actually explore how to train someone a new way of doing business, or to show the ropes to a new person. Never had any luck or success doing that and gaining full, complete understanding until I really broke it down to someone, because really, in all actuality, you have to understand the why behind what you do in order to really appreciate the concept itself. I intend to give you the analytical instructions, and maybe that'll help enlighten and shed light into the subject. The body of my speech is made up into three different parts: preparation, action, and follow-up. It's kind of like whenever you say something to someone and it's that kind of reaction. Well, that reaction to me, I correlate it with something else. PAF. It is preparation, action, and follow-up. It just kind of connects the brains, sends those electrons in my head, and makes me remember. In my world, it's the 5 P's. Prior planning prevents poor performance. So you plan ahead of time, you make sure that you're ready for whatever comes your way, and you're more prepared for whenever the action actually comes, and you're not failing to plan, you're planning to fail. That way you can actually prepare for the worst and you'll be at your best. Studies actually prove that organization and planning increases productivity immensely. In fact, the Keep Business Success blog states that 40% of the productivity that is lost when having to multitask. The Success blog actually states that 40% of productivity can be lost when having to multitask. People tend to multitask when getting behind in their work as an effort to make up for lost time, to get into a rush, and they start making mistakes. The answer to this problem is actually just to be prepared. Being prepared by gathering your tools, rehearsing in front of a mirror or a camera like we're doing for this speech, if necessary, and to study your craft ahead of time. When you're prepared, you send a message of confidence and credibility to others. But at the same time, a goal without a plan of action is merely a dream. Preparation is only the first step. There must be action to all the preparations that you do. Action itself is doing. Doing must be done right. And as the 4th Earl of Chesterfield, Philip Stanhope, said, whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. When deciding a plan of action, please consider that my strategy of making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich may be completely different from yours. Me personally, I break it down in every aspect of making that sandwich. And here's what I mean. By using my peanut butter and jelly that I have here, just think of it in your head while I go through the motions. I'm going to take my right hand, and while holding the bread bag with my left, kind of in a football cradle motion, I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to grab the twist tie between my first 2 fingers and my thumb, and I'm going to turn that that bag tie in a counterclockwise motion to release that tie from the bag and open it. When the bag is open, I'm going to take that tie that's already in my right hand, I'm going to place it on the counter or surface in front of me that I have prepared to make my sandwich. Whenever I place the bread tie down on the counter, I'm going to reach into the bag and I'm going to pull out 2 loaves of bread, the second and the third loaf specifically. Basically what I'm doing is I'm breaking down everything. I'm going to use my left hand to hold the bread in a flat, parallel fashion while I take the knife in one hand that I picked up with my right hand, gently scooping peanut butter or jelly into the jar, and approximately a spoonful or a teaspoonful, and I'm going to spread in a back to forth motion from one side of the bread to the other. I'm just going to break it down. I'm going to make it very specific. I'm going to make it very detailed as much as possible so that whatever I'm explaining is completely detailed and there's no stone left unturned. This is what I mean by making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's my way of making the complicated uncomplicated, and the same method can be pretty much used in any situation. If, for instance, we are building a jet engine, the mechanics can be written down or verbalized in such a manner as to recreate my analogy of a Pb&J. Or when you speak of physically acting on a project, you have already accomplished the task. And many people fail even to reach that. In a sense, you're already a success. After an action has been completed, there must be a way to summarize progress or analyze production. After that, the last of the analogy, PAF, first we had preparation, then action, the action of physically doing something, and now the follow-up. Follow-up is necessary for any task. When a construction worker measures a board for cutting, you can almost hear him silently saying to him or herself, measure twice, cut once. That way they don't make a mistake. There's wisdom in this. In measuring twice, they verify the correctness of their actions. This is a form of follow-up. And when completing a math problem, for instance, you may find that mathematician double-checking the work by solving the problem in a different way altogether or cross-referencing their numbers. This is also a form of follow-up. Why should there be any difference in teaching a new concept or learning one? Inc.com points out that reflecting back on something by identifying points, main points or concepts, making a few notes, or just simply thinking about the content connects you personally and can assist you in retaining the event in memory for future use. Anyone can do busy work and look like they're busy. Through motion, hand signals, they're actually physically doing something, but they don't really achieve much. With follow-up, you can afford yourself a chance to correct personal work on areas. It's an opportunity for you to improve and also finesse your abilities to a higher level. In conclusion, we cannot ignore a solid plan of action with a beginning, middle, and end. We discussed the preparation, the action, and of course the follow-up. Anytime you attempt to explain a process to someone, remember to always peanut butter and jelly it. Break it down, simplify it to the extreme. Create a nuisance set of instructions that is idiot-proof. Preparation, action, follow-up will get you started, and from there the choices are limitless. I referenced Brainy quote, Shy J from October 17, 2018 on 3 ways to improve productivity and proper planning, and Wanda Thibodeau on Science says this is the simplest way to remember more of what you read. My visual aid, of course, was my peanut butter and jelly jar. Thank you for listening.